Welcome back. This is in continuation with the previous video on the cache write issues. This particular video is about the writing a cache friendly code. When we refer to cache friendly code, what we mean is that whatever code we are writing, the locality of the variables in the code written should be balanced in the spatial and temporal localization. So that is what we are going to do now. So let's have a look at a particular code which is given here. We have a function which is called sumvec, and it is it's getting a passed on variable, the array v, and with a number of elements in it is going to be specified, and that is n, and it's of the type integer, and this function will return integer value. So now we have two declarations here of variables, I, which is an integer, and sum also is an integer, and it's initialized to 0. Now we have a loop here, for loop, and in this for loop you will find that it is going from I values varying from 0 to n minus 1, and the loop is supposed to be totaling the contents of the array v open I, and after it is done, it will return the value of sum as the function's return value. Now, when you see this, we will see that this particular variable I and sum, they are supposed to be scalar variables because they are not pointing. They are not pointing to anything. It is just there, and it has got only one reference. Whereas an array is a variable v, which is pointing to n locations, and the pointing is done by this I variable. So this is called a vectored variable. Arrays are vectored variables, and the non-array variables are supposed to be scalar, and it returns the value sum. Now let us have a look and see if the value of n is equal to 8, then we have got 8 memory locations, and assuming that the first address is 0, it can be anywhere, but the first address, let us assume for clarity of understanding, that address is 0, then 0 is the first address, 1 is the second, so on and so forth, and 7 is the 8th address. Now the contents of the address 0 is going to be v open 0, because that is the array's first item, which is going to be located here. Similarly, v1 is going to be in location 1, and v open 7 is going to be there in the 8th location. These locations are access order is going to be first 0 is going to be accessed, then second location 1 is going to be accessed, so on and so forth, and the 8th access is going to be to array location 7, item location 7. So this is how it is. Now let us have a look. Whenever this loop is operating, you will find that the sum is being accessed all the time. So therefore, the sum is only one location. So the spatial locality of sum is good. Then this array is v open I is referring to different locations, and at different looping time. So now even it doesn't have a good temporal locality because it's not being regularly referred. Again, I have to do this. I made a mistake. I don't know why I'm making mistakes. Obviously, because I'm a human being. Hi, welcome back to this video, which is supposed to be a continuation of the previous video, which was on issues for writing to caches. In this particular video, we are going to see how we can write cache-friendly code. What we mean by cache-friendly code is the code which is written should be very well balanced with locality. That is, it should be having good spatial locality and good temporal locality. So when the balance comes through, that particular code will be referred to as cache-friendly code. So let's have a look at this function here, and this function name is SumVec, and it is an array v is passed on to the sum function SumVec, and it will return an integer value. Now there are two variables declared here, which is I and sum is equal to 0. Both of them are integer type, although sum is a initialized variable, whereas I is non uninitialized variable. Now this is a loop, for loop, which is going from 0 to n minus 1, and it is going to be aggregating or accumulating a value of arrays. The array elements 0 to I are going to be accumulated in this variable sum, and after the completion of the loop, the sum is returned back as the function's return value. Now assuming that the number of array elements is 8, where we pass on n is equal to 8, then we are also assuming further that the array is located and address location 0. It could be anywhere. I'm just taking it, we are taking it for convenience of understanding. The address location is 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the memory locations, and the contents of the memory location 0 is v element 0 of array v, and the contents of memory location 1 are the array element 1, so on and so forth, and in the address location 7, the array element 7 of v is located. Now the accessing, the way order in which they are accessed is, first memory location 0 is accessed, then 2 is accessed, memory location 1 is accessed second time, then memory location 2 is accessed third time. Similarly, memory location 7 is accessed on the 8th time. Let's have a look at this code. As you can see here very well, that the sum is referred to at a regular interval. Sum is repeatedly accessed as many times as the loop is running. So therefore, this has got a temporal locality, good temporal locality. Whereas here v of I, is every time the loop iterates, the memory location which is referred to is different. So therefore, this doesn't have a good temporal locality, but it has got a spatial locality because the elements are placed one after the other in a sequence. So there is no random references. So therefore, it has got good spatial locality. Sum has got good temporal locality, and this has got good spatial locality. So this particular program has got a good balance. Okay, now let us go and see the next part. Here we call it, there's something called a stride. The stride is supposed to be, supposing in the previous case, we had a byte addressable memory. It was actually an integer, but if supposing it's a byte addressable memory, if the memory being referred is 0 and the next location is 0, 1, and the size of the referred value in memory is a byte, so the next byte is located in the next step. So this is called the stride. So if it is, this is called stride 1 because the next memory accessible location is just the next step. So the next one is going to be 2, the next one is going to be 3. Whereas if you are going to address the difference between, so here see, if supposing we are addressing the referring the first memory location 0, then the next memory location we are referring is 2. That means it is not the immediately next one, but we are referring to the alternate one. So what happens is this is going to have a stride of 2, because if this is referred, the next one is referred after 2 steps. The second step is going to be referred. So therefore this is called stride 2. So therefore stride is defined as address difference. The address difference here is, this is address 0, 2. Address difference is 2 divided by word length is byte. So word length is byte, so it will be having stride of 2. In this case, the address difference is 1 and the word length is 1, so the stride is going to be 1. So this is stride. So let us go and have a look at the next one. Here the byte addressable memory and the word length is 2 bytes. The word is, it's a byte addressable memory. All these are bytes, but the word length is 2 bytes. So that means each word is going to be 2 bytes. So 000 to 002. So 2 bytes. So therefore the address, this is the first byte, 000 and 001 will be a first word, and the second word is going to be at 002 to 003. So therefore there is a, if you see the address difference, 002 minus 000 divided by word length, the stride here is 1. The stride here is 1. And here you can see, now here you can see that the byte addressed is first 000, then skipping the second word, then after that taking the third word. So the byte difference is going to be, this is 000 address difference with 004 divided by length of that. So address difference is 4 divided by word length 2. So therefore the stride is 2. Next, we come down to we are referring back to the same locality for byte addresses. So here we have byte addresses, but we have a dual, what do you call this? We have a double array, that is two array, multi-dimensional array with dimension 2, and it is the same variable I is used here plus another variable j for referring to the second item in the element in the array. Then sum is going to be the same as earlier. Then this is the loop. So we have a loop in a loop. So the outer loop is I loop, inner loop is j loop, and here we have also got m elements across, n elements across. So the loop is going to be returning the total of all the values in this array, matrix array of m by n. So now you can see that this inner one is the row and the outer one is the column. So when you write the same thing here, we have addresses 00, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The array elements which are going to be accessed are A00, A01, A02 and A12, because there are three of which one? N. So that means there are 3 of M1 and there is only 2 of M. So there are going to be array like this 0, 0, 0, 0. This is the row. This is the second row, which is M. And here we have the column 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2, 3 column. So access order is first A00 is accessed, then second A01, then A02, fourth A10. Now we have gone to the second row and column 0, then 5. Fifth access is going to be the row 1, second row and column 2. Then the last one is going to be the sixth access is going to be row 2 and column 3. So this is how it. Now let us have a look whether it is going to work for how is the locality. As far as we are concerned, now the first reference is going to be this. This is going to be the first reference. Which one is the first reference? The first reference is contents 0, 0 is going to be the first value. So 0, 0 means this is going to be the first reference. Now whenever the cache is started, then there are nothing going to be there in the cache. So therefore the first will be a miss, then afterwards and so on and so forth. So this is going to be the access 2, 3, 4, 5. So the same story happens. This is going to have a good temporal because it's going to be repeated temporal locality is good, and these locations are not all of them accessed in time every time, but the 6 locations are accessed one after the other. So the stride between them is only 1. So therefore, this is going to be having good spatial locality. So this particular code is good for our operations. What operations is it good for? It is good for cache-friendly code. Okay, just like the previous one. Now let us have a look at reversal of that. Now here you see that we have got I and same code, but here we have J is the outer loop and I is the inner loop, but the array references is like this. So what happens is I is going to be referred here, J is going to be the outer reference. So now let us have a look. Here what will happen is contents of the address is going to be 0 at location 0, you will have A00, and at location, now you see the column is changing, the row is remaining the same, the column is changing. Here also we have 1, the row is the same, column is changing. So here in this case also we have a good functionality, both locality, both in this case of spatial and temporal. Now the idea is writing cache friendly code is make the common case go fast. Whatever is the common case, let it go. The inner loop, let it go fast, which is going to be the first element. Then minimize the misses in the inner loops. Temporal locality, repeated reference to variables are good. Temporal locality, stride 1 reference patterns are good. Spatial locality. So keep the stride 1. So this is what we have to do when we are writing cache-friendly code. So let's have a look at an example here. And here this is the array, some array rows, and it is got a 4 by 4 array. So that means it's a matrix of 4 by 4, and that A is the variable which is the reference to that array, which is 4 by 4. So it's multidimensional. So here we have I, J, and sum, as in the previous case. And the I is the outer loop and J is the inner loop. So that means this is going to be the row, this is going to be the column, and we'll return the value in sum. So this is how we work, and the best part is we have assumptions here. The cache, this is has a block size of 4 words each and 2 cache lines. So that means there are 2 cache lines. That is cache lines like this, 1, 2. So line 0, L0, L1. So these are 2 cache lines, and each cache line will have 4 words each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Word 0, word 3, word 4, word 7. So now this is how the cache is going to be. Word size is 4 bytes. So C stores array elements in a row measure order. The word size is 4 bytes and each block size of 4 words. So therefore the cache is going to be 4 words and 2 cache lines. 4 words into 2 cache lines into number of bytes is 4. So totally it is going to be 4 into 4, 16 is equal to 32 bytes. So the cache is 32 bytes cache. Fine. So let us now go down and understand how it works. So when you draw this, you will find it will come in the array like this. W0. Here W0 is going to the first word, second word, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. 16 is below. Alright, don't worry about it. We'll see. So now that particular 16 is here. This is 16. I hope you can see this. This is 16. Okay. Now, when there's 16 of them are there, now these are going to be loaded into the cache. So when you start, the cache is empty. When you start, the cache is empty. So nothing will come there. So this is the array element 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. And it's a 4 by 4, 0, 4. So 0, 3, sorry. This is going to be 1, 0. This is going to be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. And this is going to be 2, 0, 2, 1. This is the array references. So this is going to be 3, 3. So now let us have a look. So in the beginning, this cache is totally empty. So what will happen is the first one reference is going to be A open I. The sum will have the same thing as earlier. It will be repeatedly used in the loop. So therefore, it have good temporal reference. Whereas this is going to be having spatial reference as earlier I suggested. But let us now look how it works on the cache. So the first element which is going to be searched for is 0, 0. This is 0, 0, 0. So what will come here? This will be a W0 will come here. W0 will come here. W0, W1, W2, W3. So this is going to be, is it going to be a hit or a miss? It is not there in memory, so it will be a miss. So now we have got W0 loaded here. This is the 4 bytes. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is one block. Second block. Second 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0 block. This is going to be 0, 2 block. This is going to be 0, 3 block. So when this lands here, we'll have W0. First one was a mess. W0 will be loaded. W1, W2, W3. Now the next reference is going to be for I is equal to 0, J is equal to 1. It will be a hit because it is there already in memory, in cache. Now the third one is going to be I is equal to 0, J is equal to 2. This also will be hit because it is already there. Then next one is going to be I is equal to 0, J is equal to 3. It will also be a hit because it's already there. 3 is already there. So it will be a hit. Next what's going to happen is, next we will have 1. I is equal to 1. So the next memory location is going to be starting from this one. Here. This is going to be 1, 0. This is not there in cache. So this is going to be landing here now. So this will be a miss. This will be a miss because it's not there. So now it will load here. So W4, W5, dot, 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 W8. This is 3 actually. So now the next one is 1, 1. It is already there. That is W5. So it will be a hit. This will be a hit. This will be a hit. Now next what happens is the cache lines are both full now. But the reference here is 2, 1. 2, 1. This is 2, 1. If this is 2, 1, where are we going to refer? It is going to refer to this. This is going to be 2, 0. 2, 0. So now this is not there. So where will it land? It should land here. It should land here. So this will be replaced with W8 dot 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 W11. So this will also be a mess and this will be a hit, hit, hit. Next value is going to be 3, 1. This is going to be 3, 0. It's not 1, sorry. 3, 0. If it is 3, 0, what will be 3, 0? This will be 3, 0. So if it is 3, 0, this also is not there. So this has to land here. So this will be flushed out and we'll have W12 dot 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 W15. So this is going to be a miss in the beginning. Afterwards it will be a hit. It will be a hit. It will be a hit. So totally you have 4 misses. M is equal to 4 and hits is equal to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hits is going to be 12. So the hit ratio is going to be 12 by 16. So this is how you have written a cache-friendly code where the array elements are spatial locality, good spatial locality, and this has got temporal locality, this has got spatial locality. Now, given in contrast, let us have a look at another example where the outer loop is J, the inner loop is I. So that means even though we are having a matrix of M by N that is equal to I by J, we are actually referring to J as the column, J as the row, J as the outer element, and the inner element is I. So that means I is going to vary at that particular rate. That is inside. So the cache has a block size. So we are repeating this, the same cache. Let us have a look at how it works. So now you can see with the first value which is going to be there is, it is going to be j is going to be 0, I is going to be 0. So first reference is 0, 0, 0, comma 0. Then second reference is 0, comma 1. Then third reference is, no, this is not how it is. The first reference is 0, comma 0. Now this j value, which is the second variable, second dimension, now I is going to be increasing to 1. So it will become 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0. So that means the rows are skipping, but the columns are remaining as it is. So therefore, if this is going to be your 0, comma 0, 0, comma 1, 0, comma 2, 0, comma 3, this is going to be a 1, comma 0, 1, comma 1, 1, comma 2. Then you can see very well that first reference of 0, comma 0, this will be referred as number 1. The second reference is 1, comma 0. And where is 1, comma 0? 1, comma 0 is here. So it's the second reference is here. Then when you come down to the next level, it's going to be 2, comma 0. Where is 2, comma 0? This is 2, comma 0. So this is going to be the third reference. So you can see the stride. For a byte, difference of byte, we are having to skip 4 bytes. So therefore, what is going to happen is, the when the array starts filling in the cache, then there is nothing in the cache, so there will be a miss. And once the miss occurs, then this particular block, this entire block will be loaded. So the first one is W0 to W3 will be loaded. So now the next one is going to be 1, comma 0. 1, comma 0. So when it's going to be 1, comma 0, 1, comma 0, what will happen is this will be loaded. 1, comma 0. That is block 1, block 0. So now the W4 to W7 will be loaded here. 4 to W7. This is W3. So now this also will be a mess. Next, what's going to happen? I is going to increment to 2. J is always already 0. So this is going to be here. This is not available here. So this will be flushed out, and we will be returned with this W8 to W11. So W8 to W11. Then when that is done, then we have the third one, which will be a mess. Then the fourth one will be 3, comma 0. So 3, comma 0 is going to be this. So this is going to be block 3. Block 3, block 2. So this also will be a mess. Now that these blocks are all missed out, so this is going to be W12 to W15 currently available. Now the next one is going to be I is equal to J is equal to 1. So it will be here, but that J is equal to 1 and I is equal to 0. So this should be this element. This element is not there, so therefore another mess. So this will be a mess, and so on. So there will be totally mess. So this particular method, which is not row column, the scanning, the array references is done column row. So column is the row is alternating quick as a column. So therefore this particular thing is very wrongly written. So we should be very careful in choosing a proper stride. Here this is going to be spatially bad, and this is going to be good temporarily as usual, because there is no change. So this is how we go about with the cache friendly code. Okay, so that is the reference, and our topic is over. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll continue. Please see both these videos in one session. Thank you.